Good evening. This is Tess from Witch's Chamber, welcoming you all back. Tonight I'm coming to you from my swing outside in the middle of the Mosquitoville. But being solstice night, I thought it was a good night to sit out here and just talk. So we've all been through the ringer lately. As we know, our world is in turmoil. Not that this wasn't something that didn't need to happen, it did. But at the same time, it doesn't make it any easier for any of us that are living through it. So, how do we as empaths deal with all the pain in the world? And right now, it's not just pain. There's fear, there's anger, there's... Apparently, we have a visitor. Okay. I wonder what that is. Okay then. This happens a lot for me. On Friday, I was at the cemetery and I drive a big red van. Big Dodge Grand Caravan. So they're quite large. And on my way out of the cemetery, this little bird, a robin, decided that it was going to trot in front of my van. Well, being me, I don't run the bird over, and it wouldn't move. It would not fly away. So as I'm driving along, of course I'm going at a snail's pace. I'm going at a robin's pace because it's just trot, trot, trot. And then it would stop, and then the van would stop, and then it would trot forward again. And this went on for about 3/4 of the way out of the cemetery. Then all of a sudden, I even got out once to try to scoot the bird away. There was just no scooting this robin away. So then all of a sudden the bird flew up from in front of the van on top of a headstone that was right by the road, and literally sat on this headstone and looked at me. And I thought, okay, I better check out this headstone. Well, turns out it's one of the oldest, if not the oldest, headstone in the cemetery. And I still can't make out the name completely, but I think it was a sign to me. We've done a video on signs before, but this was a definite sign to me from the natural world that I should really be honoring this headstone. So that's my new thing. When I go to the cemetery, I'm going to stop and I'm going to honor whoever's buried there, because obviously I was led there for a reason, right? These things shall show themselves later. So now, back to this. How do we as empaths deal with all the pain? Well, you can do what I just did and stop and listen to the natural world. I don't know what that was croaking back there, but I'm assuming maybe it's our toad that tends to visit all the time, but he's not shown up yet this year, but could be. I do a lot of that. I listen to the natural world whenever I'm stressed, upset, angry, feeling any kind of pain coming from anywhere. I will go to the water. I will go to anywhere where I can put my feet in the soil and I can feel the earth. I find it's a great way to ground myself and at the same time release all of that back into the earth, because it's not our pain. A lot of it we pick up in our normal everyday routines and things that we do and we're around people, and yeah, it tends to attach. So that's one way to do it. Another way is to, when you wake up in the morning, you place mirrors around yourself so that you're sending back everything you're getting. Instead of it coming towards you, it's just going back to the people. I also have my candles that I light on my altar. When I do those, I send out love, healing, and everything that everybody else needs, but I keep my shields up and protect myself. There are other ways as well. You can write. You can burn your letters afterwards to the universe so that you can let it go. You can write on bay leaves. They're quite helpful and they help you to let go of things. I find them useful as much for releasing the feelings through the actual aromatherapy of the bay leaves burning and the physical action of writing it and burning it, I find very helpful. I find that if I can connect my emotional to a physical way of releasing, then I'm much more likely to be able to release that. Beyond that, there's the putting up of shields. You can do that when you're going out. I find the most helpful thing I learned was when I was learning Reiki, I learned to ask myself instantly, is this mine? This feeling that I'm having, this anger, this whatever it is it mine? Once you establish whether it's yours or not, then you can let it go. A lot of times once you recognize it's not yours, it will just stop. But you have to be able to ask yourself and be honest with yourself. Is this my feeling or is this something I'm picking up? Then you can attack it from there and figure out how to let it go, whichever way works for you. I find even if you can't get to that point where, you know, just the burning of something lets it go, or the shielding, and you need a little bit more help, then engrave it on a candle and burn it and ask for it to go. That's another way. Other than that, the only thing I can say to you right now as an empath, as a fellow empath, I can tell you that these are tough times. These are hard. You can shield, you can do all these things. Something's still going to get through because we're human and because we are caring people and because we're empaths. Like, we can only shield so much from what's going on around us. So the best thing to do is to learn to shake it off every day when you're done, when you come in the door. I do that when I walk in from outside. I shake it off, right? It was one of the things, again, that I learned doing Reiki. When I would lay my hands on anyone, at the end of it all, I shook it off. If you do that, and you do this consistently, daily, you'll get to the point where this is a normal practice for you, and it will become easier to let things go and to recognize what's yours and what isn't and work with it from there. None of it's a clear path. None of it's cut and dried because, like I've said before, we're all individuals. So what will work for one may not work for another. So it's a good thing to experiment, learn. You know yourself better than anyone. I can give you advice, but you know in your heart what works for you. So try that and understand that we're pretty much all feeling the same way. So support each other now. Hold each other up. There's so much. 2020 has been so hard in so many ways. And even all the public things that we all know are going on, just imagine how many private things are going on in people's lives and that have happened to them this year. Like, just for us alone, our house flooded in January, of all things, in Canada. So it's been a tough year. As well, I wanted to take a moment to let you know, sorry, my neighbors are setting off fireworks apparently. I also want to take a moment to let you know that things at Witch's Chamber are changing. They can't stay the same. COVID has unfortunately made it so I have to look at other ways to do things and other ways to bring you content and everything I do, as now there are no more craft shows for me. So that presents a little bit of a problem. Things will be changing. You'll notice things changing. I will give you other options, and we'll go from there. So keep your eye on the page. Keep your eye on YouTube. Again, things will change around Witch's Chamber. I wish you all well, and I hope you're having a great night and a great solstice night. I'm out here with my candle, my cauldron, and you guys, and now it's time for my ritual. So I'll bid you all good night. Have a great night. Have a great solstice. Blessed be from Witch's Chamber.